The main character says that the new task will not be long in coming, and invites everyone to find out the rules of the quest and hidden patterns together, after which the players will have confidence in their own actions. The girls thank the guy, calling him an expert. His opinion and informativeness cause them admiration. Lin Yu believes that it is not enough just to study the rules of the quest and find weaknesses in them. You must have enough strength to win. The guy decides to save up his strength before the dangerous and strange third quest and take a wait-and-see approach. The lights in the train car begin to go out. Surprised and frightened cries of passengers are heard. Those present do not understand the reason for what is happening. An energy portal appears in the door of the carriage. Cold energy envelops the entire carriage. Passengers express their dissatisfaction with the safety of the train. The player looks at the main character. He believes that the guy is really from the family of great ghosts, as he remains calm and unperturbed even in the midst of such a strange phenomenon. Lin Yu carefully studies the ghost's reactions and realizes that this is an unusual situation that rarely occurs on the number 44 train. The main character remembers that during his card game, a powerful ghost was walking around the carriage. The guy concludes that such a ghost has no need to sit idle in a carriage with small ghosts. He believes that there may be powerful demons nearby. One of the ghosts carefully looks at the energy portal and rejoices that they have finally arrived. Lin Yu notices the ghost's reaction. He understands that he is aware of the events, and has been secretly waiting for the arrival of the transformed ghosts all this time. The main character activates his amulets. The guy expected that the exam quest for beginners would involve real serious tests. A girl from the station comes out of the energy portal at the beginning of the carriage, slowly walks along the carriage and sings a children's song. The main character notices that the girl is smoking an unusual pipe, exhaling rings of magical smoke, and asks the passengers if they want to buy anything. Ghosts immediately fall under the influence of magical smoke. Their state of consciousness instantly changes. They joyfully scream and dance. Lin Yu realizes that the girl used a powerful mind control technique and summons the money system. The system informs the main character that it has detected a first-level artifact, which is a sapphire tube for imprisoning restless souls. Lin Yu hopes that he will receive a super-quality yin artifact that no player or ghost would refuse. The guy continues to carefully examine the girl and her strange ghost. He is tormented by the question of what they are selling. The entire train crew, including the driver and mechanic, enters the carriage, which greatly surprises the young man. The employees of train number 44 bow to the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and greet her with all their hearts. The train driver reports that according to the rules, representatives of the Chambers of Commerce cannot enter the carriages. He apologizes and states that he is obliged to comply with the rules. The girl tells the driver that the guarantor of the safety of her business is not small people. She tells the driver that she trusts him and hopes that he will change his decision. The girl says that the train has been in operation for many years and the crew is professional. She offers the driver to take care of her safety. The driver takes responsibility. He agrees with the conditions of the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and promises her to make every possible effort to ensure safety. The driver takes the speakerphone in his hand and informs the passengers of the carriage that in front of them is the hostess Lu from the Chamber of Commerce. Passengers will learn that hostess Lu will show them rare goods during the journey, and those interested can have a great time bidding and purchasing goods. The ghost tells his friend that the house representatives have a frightening yin energy, and this is the first time that train number 44 stopped halfway to pick up passengers. Lin Yu overhears the conversation of ghosts. The guy learns that the Chamber of Commerce has appeared on the periphery of the ghost world. Its goal is not to kill people or hunt, but to do business and increase wealth. Lin Yu considers the girl's plan successful, since a large number of wealthy ghosts have gathered in the carriage, and apparently, they have all heard about the Chamber of Commerce. The main character understands that he has a good opportunity to complete the task, because the Chamber of Commerce conducts its business through an auction, and this plays into his hands. At auctions, the one who makes the highest bid always wins. The guy believes that he is destined to get out of the shadows. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce materializes a table for lots in front of her and envelops it in magical smoke. The main character is looking forward to the start of the auction, as he has received a new task, which is that he needs to spend a lot of money to demonstrate wealth. The first lots appear on the auction table. Lin Yu asks the system to immediately evaluate them. The first item is a magic lamp, the oil of which, once ignited, helps the user improve their skills. Lu informs the passengers that the magic lamp can simultaneously increase the rate of development of yin power and knowledge of energy. The ghosts cannot contain their emotions. They are very interested in the artifact, which can increase the results of training. The main character believes that the Chamber of Commerce evaluates objects better than people. Even the monetary system gave only general characteristics. A nondescript ghost approaches the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and asks Lu how much the lamp costs. Lu informs the auction participants that the starting price for the lamp is 50,000 minbi. Many ghosts are eager to acquire this artifact and immediately begin to raise their bids. The tall ghost intends to overtake his competitors by placing a bid of 60,000 minbi. A voice is heard from the passenger's bench, raising the price of the magic lamp to 70,000. Lin Yu realizes that he made the right assumptions. Not all the ghosts in the carriage are as poor as the three gamblers. The main character raises the bet to 80,000 minbi, realizing that this money is mere trifle compared to his fortune. The auction continues. Lin Yu is not going to waste time and doubles the bid, setting the price of the lamp at 200,000. All the ghosts in the carriage immediately pay attention to the young man. They are surprised by his bidding tactics. The ghost carefully examines the main character. He did not expect that the player could do something like that and increase the bet twice as much as him. The players are very surprised by the wealth of the main character, because many of them cannot even get the money to buy a ticket. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce takes a drag from her pipe and begins to count down the price offered by the young man. Lu pronounces the price of the magic lamp 3 times, during which time no one outbids, and the owner of the Chamber of Commerce informs the participants that the artifact has been sold. The lamp immediately moves towards the main character, leaving behind a powerful energy trail of yin energy. Lin Yu takes the magic lamp into his hands and feeds the money to the little ghost delivery man. The monetary system informs the main character that an artifact of the 3rd rank has been discovered, and it is automatically tied to the user. Lin Yu opens a portal and puts the lamp in a virtual storage. A ghost sitting next to him says with envy that the guy saw a cheap trinket, could not resist, and immediately began to spend his money. The main character regrets that there are not hundreds of spectators in the carriage, otherwise he could have spent 1 million and completed the task. Lin Yu decides to complete the tasks in stages, hoping that more viewers will join the auction. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce talks about the next lot, which is called the Pearl of the Immaculate Soul. This artifact can be used by both people with spiritual energy and ghosts with yin power. The main character gets up from his seat. He raises his hand to attract attention and says that he's buying this item. None of the ghosts are able to outbid Lin Yu. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce reports that the item has been sold. The 3rd item is the Jade Soul Heart. Wearing it helps maintain composure, and is also used to make artifacts and pills with the corresponding effect. Lin Yu immediately sets the maximum price and buys the 3rd artifact without much competition. The ghost watches the main character in surprise, considering it suspicious that the player spent a huge amount of money in the 1st round. The ghost cannot understand how a 2nd-rank hunter can have such resources. Lin Yu moves the artifacts to a virtual storage. The ghosts nearby are gossiping. They consider the guy a member of one of the powerful organizations. Lin Yu notices that due to his wasteful behavior, there are more and more ghosts in the train carriage. The guy is happy about the increase in the number of spectators and participants. But this is not enough. And in the 2nd round, he intends to further shock those around him with big expenses. Treasures of the 2nd round appear on the auction table, which are much stronger than the previously exhibited artifacts. Lu suggests purchasing a trace-returning liquid. You just need to apply it to the target so that it tracks the object, no matter how far away it is. Lin Yu believes that such an item will be very useful in group operations. The guy intends to use it in the future, or resell it to someone. The starting price of the liquid is set at 300,000 minbi, and active trading begins in the hall. Lin Yu immediately sets the price for the artifact at 700,000, which shocks the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and her ghost. The ghostly creatures cannot hide their surprise and irritation. The main character again sets a maximum price that no one can beat. Lin Yu is counting the money. The guy intends to set the maximum price in the 2nd round so that other participants would not even think of keeping up with him. Trading of a new lot begins. The main character immediately sets the price at 700,000 minbi. Shoots of crystal blue grass capable of devouring souls go to the main character. The final lot of the 2nd round is the most interesting. It is a magical war blade. Lin Yu carefully examines the blade, realizing that he still does not have his main weapon. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce reports that the soul-taking blade is a top-level artifact. The blade was forged on the periphery of the ghost world and is modeled after the blood sword, a similar blade used by the bloody Ghost Queen. The ghosts in the carriage learn that after killing an enemy with this blade, his yin energy is redirected into the body of the winner. With its help, he replenishes his strength and heals his own wounds. Lu says that this item is very valuable and sets its starting price at 500,000 minbai. Many ghosts want to buy this artifact. They gradually increase the bid. Lin Yu understands that the ghosts are not his competition. The guy is in no hurry and closely monitors the auction. The main character is immersed in his thoughts. He thinks about the artifacts that he has and their capabilities in battle. Lin Yu believes that the blade will take its rightful place in his collection of artifacts. A huge, gloomy ghost rises from his seat and offers a bet of 750,000 minbi. The ghost carefully watches the main character. He hopes that the sword does not attract his attention. The ghost thinks that this time the guy will not buy it, and the sword will go to him. The ghost's dreams are not allowed to come true. Lin Yu gets up from his seat and voices a bet of 900,000. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce is counting down the protagonist's bet. She continues to be amazed by the young man's capabilities. The voice of a ghost is heard. The creature demands to stop the auction immediately. Lu doesn't understand what's going on. She asks the ghost to explain his behavior. The ghost thinks it's quite strange and outrageous that the player is charging huge prices. He thinks that the guy is going beyond all permitted limits. A large number of ghosts have gathered in the carriage. They are actively discussing what is happening. Lin Yu decides that there are enough spectators and intends to complete the task. The main character informs the owner of the Chamber of Commerce that he sets the price of the sword at 1 million minbi. The ghosts open their mouths in surprise. They have never seen a participant outbid himself. Ghostly creatures express their dissatisfaction. They consider such behavior disgusting and do not understand how they can outbid themselves. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce cannot hide her surprise. She has been involved in trade for many years and has never seen anything like this. Lin Yu believes that by outbidding himself, he in no way violated the rules of the auction. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce confirms the guy's words. She tells him that he can outbid his price indefinitely. The main character holds a combat sword in his hands. The monetary system congratulates him on completing the task. The guy made a purchase for 1 million in front of 100 witnesses. Lin Yu sends the sword to the virtual storage and prepares for the third round of the auction. He is completely calm since he has already completed the task. The monetary system informs the main character that he has been given the next task. He must spend a total of 10 million minbi, and the difference between competitors' rates should not be very large. After completing this task, Lin Yu will be able to open the doors of the freezing space and enter quests at will. The guy believes that completing this task is just a matter of time. Another problem when completing the task is that the main character cannot take the initiative to raise the price himself. A new auction lot appears. The carriage room is saturated with a huge amount of powerful ki energy. Lu invites participants to purchase 2 light yellow pills called Return to the Afterlife. These pills were prepared by the old Ghost King and can restore any ghost to its original maximum level. The main character understands that many ghosts are interested in these pills, as they affect knowledge, strength, and spiritual skills. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce shows the participants a small box of pills and informs them that the starting price is 1 million minbi. A huge ghost with a large horn on his head immediately enters the auction and offers 1,100,000 for the artifact. Lin Yu carefully examines the ghost, realizing that he has not yet participated in today's auction. The ghost turns around and looks at the main character, fearing that the guy will set a higher price. Lin Yu follows the betting ratio proportions given to him in the task and sets a price of 2 million minbi. The ghosts discuss the behavior of the protagonist. It remains a mystery to them where the young man got such resources. 2 million is too much for the horned ghost. He understands that his savings are not enough to compete with the guy. The ghost looks at the one-eyed participant standing next to him, and a cunning plan comes into his head. The horned ghost starts a conversation with the one-eyed one. He finds out that he wants to buy pills, but understands that Lin Yu will still outbid him. The ghost offers to join forces, since it is very difficult to compete with the main character alone, and offers to win the lot together, and then divide the pills equally. The one-eyed ghost believes that working together can lead to victory at the auction, and agrees to the proposal. The ghosts count their finances and realize that they have 3 million minbi. They are going to bet the entire amount. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce counts the price offered by the main character. The ghosts outbid the bid and add 200,000 minbi to it. Lu is glad that there is at least some competition, and the auction did not turn into a purchase for one person. The ghosts are happy about what is happening. They have not seen such unpredictable trading for a long time and are enjoying the tense atmosphere. Lin Yu realizes that he was wrong in his initial feelings, when it seemed to him that the fierce ghost was not at all interested in bidding. The one-eyed ghost turns to the main character. He looks at him carefully and smiles maliciously. Lin Yu immediately realizes that the two ghosts have decided to team up to defeat him in the auction. The main character decides to play along with the ghosts and, without violating the rules of the task, raises the price of the lot by another 100,000. The ghosts believe that the protagonist is running out of money as, unlike previous rounds, he increases his bet little by little. The ghost's mood rises, they outbid the young man, and the price reaches 2.5 million. The ghosts thank the brave souls who challenge the impudent young player and hope for their victory in the auction. Lin Yu tries to mislead the ghosts by pretending that he is very worried about the fact that he has no money. The guy raises the bet by only 50,000. The ghosts standing nearby rejoice. They believe that the guy is really running out of money. The ghost hopes that the main character is running out of money, and raises the bet to 2,700,000. Lin Yu continues to pretend. The ghosts believe that he spent a lot of money in previous rounds, and is not able to raise the bet. The ghost tells the players that he considers people stupid creatures, since the further the round, the more expensive the item, and in auctions you need to be more prudent. Lu counts down the bet, realizing that the main character, judging by the completed rounds, only had about 7 or 8 million. She believes that the guy overestimated himself and retreated when the real bidding began. Despite this, the owner of the Chamber of Commerce believes that the guy should not be underestimated. He is a man with large capital and, perhaps, is under the patronage of a serious organization. Lin Yu continues his pretense. The ghosts surrounding him insult him and ask where his courage went. The main character believes that it is time to teach the ghosts a lesson and removes his hand from his face. The ghost does not understand what happened to the guy and why he had such a frightening expression on his face. The guy intends to increase the bet. This information shocks the ghosts and makes them tremble. The main character intends to cash out 3 million nimbys. The surrounding space is filled with the purest yin energy. The ghost feels enormous energy pressure. He does not understand what the main character is going to do. The monetary system reports that the cashing was successful. The guy is holding 3 banknotes with a face value of 1 million. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce smiles faintly. She understands that the main character has been playing ghosts all this time. The one-eyed ghost asks his companion what they will do in this situation. The shadowy creature accepts his loss and tells his companion that they have no chance. Lin Yu wins the auction. He holds the magic pills in his hands and feels their colossal energy potential. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce finds the young man interesting and intends to get to know him better later in order to begin a fruitful cooperation. The latest acquisition makes Lin Yu very happy, because with the help of these pills even the dead can be brought back to life. In a thriller game, this will be a very serious insurance. The monetary system informs the main character that he needs to continue completing tasks in order to improve his cashback card. A ghost approaches Lin Yu. He asks the guy to do a favor and give him the next lot. The next item to be auctioned is an iron ingot that appeared at the junction of the borders of the Ghost Kingdom. Lu talks about how this ingot can be used to make high-quality weapons that will give a huge advantage in the battle against ferocious ghosts. Lin Yu understands that compared to previously sold pills, this material is much less attractive to most buyers. The guy carefully examines the old ghost who dared to approach him, and realizes that the ghost is very interested in the ingot. Lin Yu raises his hand and sets a price of 2 million nimbi, which greatly shocks the ghost nearby. The ghost was very infuriated by the behavior of the main character, because he approached the guy and asked him to give up the lot on good terms. Lin Yu tells the ghost that the highest bidder will receive the material, as this is the rule of the auction. The ghost realizes that he cannot compete with the main character, and asks the guy to sell him the bullion later, when he has saved up enough money. Lin Yu is very surprised by the ghost's offer. The guy understands that this ingot is undervalued. The ghost tells the guy that he has a large amount of financial resources, but he does not have all the information. Lin Yu says that this material is just a piece of second-level metal. In the future, he will find a blacksmith who will make an artifact from it. The ghost shares information that this material has many possibilities, and if it falls into the hands of the right blacksmith, its value will increase significantly. The main character understands that there is a ghost blacksmith in front of him. There are very few good blacksmiths in the ghost world, and they are all hiding. Lin Yu believes that he does not need to spoil his relationship with the blacksmith, since this ghost can be very useful to him in the future. The ghost confirms the guy's assumption. He tells him that he is a famous blacksmith named Ding Liang. Lin Yu tells the ghost that he does not have enough money to repurchase the materials. The guy invites the ghost to enter into a contract with him, for which he can give him this ingot for free. Ding Liang refuses the protagonist's offer. He says that he does not intend to recognize anyone as his master. The blacksmith invites the young man to become his student, in which case he promises to teach him a lot, including the technique of making weapons. Lin Yu says that in this case they have nothing to discuss, and confirms his bet of 2 million. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce informs those present that the auction is ending, and the next lot will be the last. The final item is a top-tier ghost mask that takes camouflage to the next level. Despite the fact that the initial price of the mask is 1 million, there are a large number of ghosts who want to purchase it. The one-eyed ghost joins the fight. He makes a bet of 1,250,000. The ghost urges those around him not to let the human being take all the goods at the auction. The one-eyed ghost sees a huge ghostly creature next to him. He asks him what he is quietly laughing at. The huge ghost says that he doesn't mind if the human player takes all the lots, as it will make his job easier in the future. Auction participants gradually increase the price of the item. The main character waits for the moment to name the final amount. Lin Yu activates the cashback system and sets its bet in the amount of 3 million minbi. The one-eyed ghost cannot contain his emotions. He expresses anger towards the main character and cries. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce informs those present that the auction is over. She tells her ghost that she has never seen one person take all the goods. Lu carefully watches the main character. She understands that the guy doesn't care how much money he spends. She doesn't see his feelings of bitterness from the loss, only sincere joy from the process. Lin Yu is pleased with the auction. This time the guy not only captured the attention of a large audience, but also bought amazing things. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce approaches the main character. The girl says that she is impressed by the financial capabilities of the young man and is going to meet him. Lin Yu follows the rule. He does not give his real name. The guy suggests that the owner of the Chamber of Commerce call him Emperor. Lu silently looks at the young man. The girl hopes that with his help she can quickly move up the career ladder of her Chamber of Commerce. Lu makes the main character an offer to become a VIP member of the Chamber of Commerce and take advantage of special offers. The main character is ready to become a VIP person of the Chamber of Commerce if the girl does him one favor. Lu tells the main character that she will be happy to listen to his request. Lin Yu informs the girl that he does not need to make any discounts. He is ready to pay full price for all goods. Lu finds the young man's request very strange. She reports that the rules of the Chamber of Commerce are that VIPs have an automatic 20% discount. The monetary system tells the main character that this discount will not affect the volume of consumption in any way. Lin Yu agrees to the girl's conditions. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce asks her ghost to give the guy an ID. The next moment, the ghost materializes and throws an individual VIP client badge towards the guy. Lin Yu carefully examines the sign, and it seems to the guy that the Chamber of Commerce may be closely connected with the otherworldly hotel. The main character remembers a ghostly hotel and its owner. He believes that the same organization is behind the hotel and the Chamber of Commerce. A small ghost approaches the young man. He meets Lin Yu and offers the guy his services. Lin Yu agrees to seek help from a new acquaintance if necessary. The ghost is very glad that he met an influential young man. Following the little ghost, a huge creature approaches Lin Yu. It bows and tells the guy that he is the manager of the lower paradise. The manager says that their organization specializes in transactions with necromancers. He invites the guy to visit the lower paradise and choose something. The main character thanks the ghost and says that if he has time, he will definitely visit their organization. The manager shakes the young man's hand and wishes him a pleasant trip. The main character is surrounded by a large number of ghosts. Everyone wants to meet a successful and rich young man. The players idolize Lin Yu. The man promises to write a separate story on the forum about the main character and today's adventure. A huge, ferocious ghost walks along the carriage. He roughly pushes everyone in his path. A huge, ghostly creature approaches the main character and asks him if he really is a man named Emperor. Lin Yu confirms his fictitious name. At the same moment, the train begins to shake sharply, and he makes an emergency brake. The main character watches the transformation of the ghost and understands that new dangerous trials will now begin. Lu informs the train driver that her strength is limited by third-party influence of yin energy. The girl cannot use her abilities and is unable to leave the train. The driver picks up the radio and tries to contact the conductor and mechanic of the train. Lin Yu turns to a huge ghost. The guy wants to find out who he is and for what purpose he is on the train. Train employees enter the carriage. They ask passengers to remain calm and promise to fix the problem as quickly as possible. The driver informs the mechanic and the conductor that a huge ghost with a scar on his face may be involved in the incident. A train mechanic approaches a ghost with a scar on his face. He asks him to stay where he is and not move. The ghost with a scar on his face lets out a quiet laugh and snaps his fingers loudly. The interior of the carriage is illuminated with bright red flashes of energy and is shrouded in thick black fog. A gang of huge ghostly robber creatures appears inside the carriage. The gang leader approaches the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and tells her that he has heard a lot about her. The girl warns that a serious organization is behind her. The gang leader laughs and tells the girl that the Chamber of Commerce is just a bunch of money-hungry rats. The ghost informs those present that they have isolated the train and reduced the power of the ghosts inside to normal levels. Lu informs the bandits that the bag of treasure is the property of the Chamber of Commerce. The bandit leader reports that he does not respect the rules of the Chamber of Commerce, especially after seeing how a certain person was able to buy all the items at their auction. Lu tells the gang leader that his accomplices have no right to touch VIP clients of the Chamber of Commerce. The gang leader believes that today there will be a rich catch and demonstrates his deadly weapon to those around him. The gang leader has a chain blade. The money system informs the main character that a high-class weapon has been discovered. Two bandits approach Lin Yu. The main character understands that a fierce battle is about to begin. The ghost mocks the guy and asks him to be a good boy. Lin Yu thinks it's time to call his ghost for help, and Delu appears behind him. One of the bandits is very surprised. He did not expect to see a fierce ghost who intends to protect the guy. The bandit is surprised that the second-rank young man was able to tame the ferocious ghost. Delu tells him that the best defense is offense and strikes. The carriage is illuminated by flashes of powerful flows of chi energy, and a blow of incredible force throws the bandit to the end of the carriage. The bandit gets to his feet and comes to his senses. He praises Delu and tells him that he has a good shot. Delu slowly approaches the bandit leader. The ghost tells the cook that he knows him. The leader says that he saw Delu on the periphery of the ghostly world. He remembers him in a dirty apron and with a butcher knife in his hands. The bandit looks at the cook looming over him and believes that Delu is not as strong as in the past. The creature thinks that his opponent is just a ferocious ghost like him. The bandit leader's eyes burn with hellish flames. He wishes for Daylu's death and stabs him with his chain blade. Daylu concentrates a huge amount of energy around itself and launches a counterattack at the enemy. Opponents deal powerful blows to each other. Huge streams of energy scatter in different directions of the car, sweeping away everything in their paths. A carriage passenger looks at the main character and is surprised that the guy has curbed such a ferocious ghost. The players are hiding behind the surviving seat. The girl is quietly crying. She believes that they will all die. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce is serenely smoking her magic pipe. The girl did not expect that a simple person could subjugate such a ferocious ghost. The train mechanic shares his opinion with Lu. He believes that the main character is talented and very lucky. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce understands that at the moment their magical powers are blocked. She offers to join forces and fight back the bandits together. The mechanic agrees with the girl's words. He suggests not to hesitate and to rush everyone together to attack. The driver, mechanic, conductor, and other train personnel attack the bandits. Lin Yu tries to generate a protective field around himself. The guy hears a voice that tells him that he won't be able to hide. The bandit warns his accomplice. He asks him to be careful and says that the young man has a lot of trump cards hidden up his sleeve. The ghost says that, despite the huge amount of money, the guy is just a second-level player. The bandit takes out a knife and tells the main character that now he will profit from his flesh. Lin Yu looks at the bandit disdainfully. He sees him as an ordinary ghost who thinks a lot about himself. The main character materializes two huge screws and launches them at the enemy with great speed. The bandit experiences a feeling of shock. He sees the spinning screws approaching him and cannot dodge them. The screws hit the bandit's head. The ghost grabs it with his hands and screams loudly. Lin Yu uses a huge jump to reach the enemy and strikes him with his sword. The main character appreciated the sword in battle. The guy believes that it was not in vain that he paid a lot of money for it. One of the bandits, being on the ceiling of the carriage, just saw how Lin Yu killed his brother. He considers the guy a dangerous opponent. The ghost continues to carefully watch the main character. He intends to find a way out of this situation as soon as possible. The bandit wants to attack the main character from behind, but he's worried about the huge amount of yin energy controlled by the young man. Lin Yu notices that a ghost is closely watching him. He provokes the creature and asks it to show everything that it is capable of. The ghostly creature mutates. It takes in lungfuls of air and shoots powerful sound waves at the young man. Daylu and the bandit leader continue their furious duel. Their forces are equal. No one can win the fight. The leader sees his accomplice releasing sound waves and tells Daylu that his master will soon die. Daylu tells the ghost to take care of himself. He says that his master can only die in the ghost's dreams. The bandit on the ceiling of the carriage continues to generate powerful sound waves. Despite their destructive power, Lin Yu continues to resist and slowly approaches the ghost. The ghost cannot hide his disappointment. He realizes that the guy has a weapon that protects him from the soul's attack. The bandit sees that there's a necklace on the main character's neck. He believes that the guy needs it not only for beauty. The necklace has the function of not only protection, but also offense. Lin Yu uses it to attack the ghost. The necklace generates streams of energy that transform into flying skulls. They reach the bandit and begin to tear him apart. The ghost intends to take the protagonist with him to the grave if he is destined to die in this battle. Lin Yu thinks it's time for the deadly screws and sends the pair into the bandit on the roof of the carriage. The ghost laughs quietly. He tells the guy that these are useless tricks and suggests that he not seriously think that he can hit him with such a weapon. The main character understands that the bandit was right. The ghost's combat level allows him to easily dodge the screws. Lin Yu asks the ghost not to be too happy. The guy takes out an ice soul sphere from the virtual storage and tells the ghost that he will like the taste of this weapon. The guy throws a sphere at his opponent. The entire space around the ghost turns into ice. Lin Yu slowly approaches the ghost. The guy realizing that this is the first time he has seriously used his spiritual power since he awakened. The main character concentrates his spiritual power, spiritual consciousness, and combat experience into a single whole. Lin Yu wishes the disgusting ghost to die and strikes with his sword. The next moment a hand appears from behind the ghost, which grabs and blocks the blade. The main character cannot hide his surprise. He believed that he would destroy the ghost with his blow. The ghostly creature laughs quietly. It tells Lin Yu that he is not the only one with aces up his sleeve, and promises the guy that today he will die in agony. The ghost begins to scream loudly and imbues its body with a huge amount of chi energy. The back of the ghostly creature begins to mutate. Cocoons appear on it, from which long clawed paws appear. After a moment, the creature transforms into a huge arachnid monster. The creature tells the guy that he will be a good addition to his collection of souls and rushes to attack. Lin Yu activates his necklace, intending to use it to fend off the vile creature's attack. With the help of the necklace, the main character manages to throw the ghost away from himself. The creature is perplexed as to how the artifact can combine the mixing of yin and qi energies. Despite the many paws growing from the ghost's back, the main character continues to move forward, mercilessly cutting them off one by one. Deprived of much of its energy, the ghost feels acute pain and can no longer fight. Lin Yu carefully approaches the creature and asks where all his strength, energy, and fighting spirit went, why he lies and does not attack. The creature reports that it has an innate gift that allows it to transform all its pain into a destructive burst of chi energy. The monster tells the main character that his trinkets are no match for his strength and rushes to attack. The guy uses the burning technique and hits the ghost. The creature dodges the blow, calls Lin Yu a cursed man, and plans to take his head with him. The ghost simultaneously strikes with 24 of its spider-like legs. Low-level ghosts are hiding in the corner of the carriage. They believe that after the bandit deals with the man, he will take on them. The players are no less scared than ordinary ghosts. They are sure that they will be next after the monster deals with Lin Yu. The bandit's body convulses. His huge spider legs deliver chaotic blows in different directions. The monster realizes that he cannot strike. His paws are stuck in the broken window of the carriage. He cannot get them out of there. This makes him unable to move. The main character imbues the surrounding space with energy and summons his second ghost, Secretary Bai. The girl materializes in space. She greets her owner and asks how she can help. Lin Yu orders the secretary to use the energy of hatred. The girl accumulates a dense flow of this energy and directs it at the bandit. The monster, feeling the blow of the energy of hatred, emits a heartbreaking cry. It is shrouded in dense fields of energy and cannot move. Passengers on the train wonder how the main character connected two different fierce ghosts, one of which is a pretty girl and the other a powerful warrior. The bandit finds the strength to overcome his fear. He says that these are just ghosts, and strikes with his free paws. Lin Yu tells the ghost that he is already quite tired of him, and uses a sword to cut off the paws attacking him. The ghost is greatly surprised. He realizes that he is no longer able to regenerate his spider legs. The main character uses the pharaoh's bandage to immobilize the ghost, and slowly approaches him. The ghost realizes that he has no chance. He is tightly bound by the pharaoh's bandage, and the energy of Bai's hatred does not allow him to regenerate his paws. Lin Yu imbues his combat blade with energy. A bright red light fills the entire surrounding space. The guy deals a powerful blow to the ghost. The bandit, having lost all his spider legs, lies on the ground. He quietly whines, calls the main character brother, and begs to spare him. The ghost promises to stop the attack. He reports that his two brothers will listen to him, and all passengers on the train will remain safe and sound. The main character smiles. He slowly approaches the monster. The ghost continues to persuade the guy to save his life. Lin Yu holds a shining sword in his hands. The guy tells the ghost that he is very bad at lying. The bandit threatens the young man. He declares that if he dies, his older brother will tear the guy into small pieces and scatter his soul throughout the world of ghosts. The main character gets tired of listening to the threats and lies of the ghost. He strikes the monster with a sword. Lin Yu asks the monetary system to give him a talisman of extermination. The magic sign instantly appears in his hands. The guy places a magical talisman of extermination on the body of the defeated enemy. The ghost begins to writhe in convulsions and scream loudly. A train passenger jumps up from his seat and happily informs his neighbors that they have defeated the bandit. Passengers admire the main character. He not only killed one of the 3 main bandits of the bandit squad, but also used a spell that completely expels the soul. Ding Liang seems to have a good idea and believes that the main character has great potential. The gang leader stops his fight with Delu. He turns around and realizes that one of his accomplices is dead. Delu laughs loudly, happy that his master burned the soul of the gang leader's brother. The ghost screams loudly and curses the main character. In a fit of wild rage, he rushes at the guy. The gang leader raises his chainsword to strike and tells Lin Yu that he will now take his soul. Lin Yu notices a ghost approaching him. The guy in a sarcastic tone advises him to take care of himself. Delu rushes to the aid of the main character. He concentrates the energy shield and directs it towards his master. The energy shield blocks the gang leader's blow, after which Delu deals a crushing blow to the bandit with his huge fist. The force of the impact is so powerful that the gang leader breaks through the roof of the carriage with his body and flies out. The robber finds himself on the roof of the carriage and wonders how such powerful passengers ended up on such an inconspicuous train. Delu climbs onto the roof of the carriage and heads towards the gang leader to finish off the robber. The fierce battle continues. The opponents inflict powerful blows on each other. Bright energy flashes illuminate the entire space around. The ghost looks through a hole in the roof and orders his accomplice to immediately come to his aid. A magical seal is formed around the ghost in the carriage. He tells the leader that he will now join the battle, and the two of them will defeat Delu. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce sees the robber's plan. The girl jumps in the air and kicks him. The ghost easily reflects the blow of the owner of the Chamber of Commerce and jumps onto the roof of the carriage with lightning speed. A powerful blow from the ghost throws Lu aside. Lin Yu catches the girl and saves her from falling. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce thanks the guy for his help and asks what he's going to do. Lin Yu tells the girl that he has destroyed one ghost, but the situation is serious, since Delu will have a hard time resisting 2 ghosts. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce understands that it will be quite difficult to deal with two ferocious ghost bandits. Lin Yu tells the girl not to worry. The guy orders Secretary Bai to look after her and rushes to Dailu's aid. An unequal battle continues on the roof of the carriage. The main character cannot allow the bandits to unite and kill his ghost. He immediately enters the battle. Lin Yu uses the Pharaoh's headband to attack. He imbues it with magical energy and shoots one of the bandits. The bandit considers the protagonist a stupid person who, being only a second-rank overlord, dares to interfere in the battle. Lin Yu relies on the power of the Pharaoh's headband, considering it a first-class yin weapon, and believing that its magical power will be enough to suppress the ferocious ghost. The main character turns out to be right. The Pharaoh's bandage securely binds one of the bandits and completely immobilizes him. The bandit leader is very unhappy that Lin Yu is interfering in the fight. He advises Dailu to take his master and run for his life. Dailu tells the robber that he is very mistaken, and invites him to turn around and look at his accomplice, who is captivated by the Pharaoh's bandage. The leader turns and sees a tied-up ghost behind him. He sends angry curses at the main character and Dailu. The robber intends to free his accomplice and then destroy his opponents. With these thoughts, he rushes to attack and strikes. The bound ghost is trying with all his might to free himself, but his yin power is blocked, and he realizes that he has been captivated by a first-class artifact. The robber sees Lin Yu approaching him. He fears that the young man may have other artifacts. The main character materializes a huge number of soul exorcism spells and covers the robber's entire body with magical signs. A heart-rending scream of a ghost is heard, and a moment later there is an explosion of enormous power. The main character is sincerely surprised by the power of the explosion. The guy suggests that the joint use of spells and artifacts sums up the power of the impact. The ghost insults the young man with his last words, inviting him to fight in a fair fight without the use of artifacts. Lin Yu tells the ghost that they fought honestly all the time, and offers to save the robber's life if he recognizes the main character as his master. The ghost flies into a wild rage. To the guy's surprise, the robber manages to dispel the magical power of the artifact. A bandit approaches the main character, threatening to eat his body and destroy his soul. Dailu comes to the aid of the young man in time. The ghost jumps over his opponents and comes to Lin Yu's defense. Dailu informs his master that things are bad. One of the robbers has fallen into a berserker state, so it is useless to talk to him, and he can only be stopped by destroying him. Lin Yu believes that there is no reason to worry. The guy orders Dailu to fight the leader, and he intends to deal with his accomplice on his own. The main character tells his ghost that he has a few more tricks up his sleeve. Dailu begins to be frightened by the power contained in the young man, but at the same time he feels relieved, since the guy will definitely not be lost in the battle. Lin Yu recognizes its advantage, which lies in an endless stream of high-quality artifacts that can have a key impact on the course of battle. The robber, who has fallen into a berserker state, lets out hellish screams and approaches the main character. Lin Yu tells his ghost that the battle is entering the final stage and asks Dailu to use all the powerful techniques he has. Dailu's eyes emit a huge amount of energy. He screams loudly and rushes to attack. Lin Yu is glad that in this battle he will see all the combat power of his ghost. The guy materializes a portal and plunges his hand into it. The main character takes out a deck of magic cards from the portal, believing that a third-order artifact will allow him to win this protracted battle. The robber looks at the energy sign and realizes that the magical compass has gone astray under the influence of external forces. Lin Yu confidently holds the shining magic cards in his hands. His eyes are full of determination. The guy is preparing for a decisive attack. The main character shuffles a deck of cards and prepares a powerful spell that should change the course of the battle. The enemies begin to get nervous, realizing that the situation is getting out of control. The leader of the bandits is eager to obtain an artifact of the highest rank. With its help, the strength of the squad will increase many times over, which will make future attacks more successful. Dailu threatens the bandit and orders him not to approach his master, intending to protect the guy at all costs. The deck of cards, being a powerful artifact, creates a strong energy field around the young man. The bandit activates a magic sign and uses the magic compass technique to perform teleportation. The robber successfully teleports and ends up behind the main character. He is full of anger and is preparing to attack the guy from behind. The main character notices the teleported enemy. Lin Yu quickly reacts and throws a magic card at him. The ghost believes that the main character thinks too much of himself. He sees a card flying at him and uses teleportation to avoid the blow. Lin Yu uses his spiritual powers to break through the rogue's defense. The magic card hits the target. The ghost realizes that this was a cunning magical attack. The card penetrates his body and releases a huge amount of destructive energy. The robber is not worried about this. He considers this wound a minor scratch and rushes to the attack. Suddenly, numerous playing cards begin to fly out of the ghost, destroying the bandit's energy shell. He loses a lot of energy and looks stunned. The main character juggles cards in front of him. The guy realizes that this artifact is unpredictable in battle. The gang leader, seeing his partner under attack, explodes with rage and threatens to destroy his opponents. The ghost screams loudly, and with the help of a magic circle generates a huge amount of energy, which nourishes his body and makes him incredibly strong. Having gathered enough energy to teleport, the ghost intends to disappear from the battlefield and suddenly appear in another location to attack. Delu barely resists the gang leader's blows, preventing him from coming to the aid of his comrade. The robbers disappear into thin air. Delu warns his master about the critical situation. He understands that the opponents pose a serious threat. Suddenly, the robbers appear behind the main character. Their eyes glow with hellish fire, and they confidently rush to attack. Ghosts surround the protagonist. Delu tries to warn his master as the train enters a dark tunnel, aggravating the situation. The main character activates monster mode, which allows him to see in pitch darkness. The guy prepares for a fight in conditions of limited visibility. With the help of monster mode, the main character sees his opponents in complete darkness, which allows him to effectively dodge their attacks. Lin Yu counterattacks using a magical deck of cards, fanning them out around him. The cards randomly and with great speed deliver numerous blows, breaking through the energy fields of ghosts. The eyes of the gang leader burn with furious fire. He says that even if they die, they will take the guy with them. The main character considers ghosts to be naive and frivolous. He knows that he has a sufficient number of artifacts to resist his enemies. Lin Yu uses a soul-holding talisman in conjunction with a spirit-killing talisman. The leader is unable to block the effects of these magical signs. The use of two talismans causes an explosion of enormous power, at which point the train leaves the tunnel. The gang leader, completely consumed by magical fire, stretches out his hands to destroy the main character. Delu comes to the guy's aid in time. The effect of the talismans intensifies. The ghosts are engulfed in magical flames. Bright rays of energy burst out of their bodies. Soon the flashes of energy go out and disappear into space along with the ghosts. The main character and Dailu stand on the roof of a moving carriage and watch as the remains of the ghosts gradually dissipate in the air. Dailu kneels before the young man and asks for forgiveness for failing to protect his master and ensure his safety. The cook says that due to his negligence and inattention, the main character had to face two ghosts face to face. The guy believes that such unforeseen situations often happen in battle. He claims that he had the fight under control the entire time, and asks Dailu to get back on his feet. The cook cannot forgive himself for his mistake and is ready to accept any punishment for his misconduct. The main character offers Dailu, for leaving him to fight alone with two ghosts, to cook a delicious dish for lunch. The cook considers this punishment insufficient. Lin Yu suggests that in this case he punish himself by giving up alcohol for 3 days. The passengers realize that the carriage has stopped shaking. They calm down a little, look around and look at each other in fear. One of the players recalls that terrifying sounds were heard from the roof of the carriage. He believes that both sides used all their strong capabilities. It is difficult for the guy to understand who won. The mechanic tells the owner of the Chamber of Commerce that there were 2 fierce ghosts on the roof, and it would be very difficult for one person to defeat them. He fears that the bandits have gained the upper hand. The main character, together with his ghost, jumps from the roof of the carriage and confidently declares to the owner of the Chamber of Commerce that this will never happen. Lin Yu demonstrates 2 bright energy balls in her hands, attracting the gaze of the owner of the Chamber of Commerce. The girl asks the young man what these unusual objects are. The ghosts in the carriage are surprised that the main character survived and was able to defeat opponents of superior strength. Lu is impressed by Lin Yu's fighting prowess and admires the fact that he was able to defeat 2 fierce ghosts. Lin Yu asks the train passengers to calm down, telling them that the danger has passed and there is no reason to worry. The train driver senses a change occurring in his body and informs those present that the magic level blockage has been lifted. The remaining ordinary members of the gang look at each other in fear. They understand that inevitable punishment awaits them. The driver feels a surge of energy and, together with his team, is going to deal with the remnants of the gang on his own. The train crew turns on low-level gang members and brutally kills them. The main character carefully observes the train driver. He considers the magic level blocking to be a good weapon. Secretary Bai approaches Lin Yu and reports that she has found the weapon with which the bandits suppress the powers of the ferocious ghosts. The girl hands Lin Yu a wooden box. The monetary system instantly reports the discovery of a high-level artifact called the Soul Castle. The guy opens the box and observes a sparkling artifact in it, which is capable of taking spiritual energy from the target and placing it in captivity. The train staff cleans up the interior of the carriages. The conductor deeply apologizes for the fact that the passengers were attacked, and as compensation she offers everyone a free lunch. The main character does not like this news. He understands that the ghosts will prepare dinner from bad products and waste. The train mechanic approaches Lin Yu and asks if he really is the man named Emperor. Lin Yu responds affirmatively to the ghost. The train staff bows to the main character and thanks him for the help provided in saving the passengers. As a token of gratitude, The train mechanic hands the main character a bag containing the souls of dead ghosts. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce says that she is also indebted to Lin Yu, and suggests turning to her for help at any time. Lin Yu thanks the staff for their trust and says that he wants to share his thoughts. The guy says that the weapon that the bandits used to suppress magical powers was powered by a powerful egregore. Lu realizes that the attack was well planned, and a powerful organization is behind it. Lu arrives at her station. The girl says goodbye to the main character. She intends to report the incident to her Chamber of Commerce as soon as possible. The owner of the Chamber of Commerce once again invites the guy to seek help, and together with her ghost, disappears into thin air. The main character turns to the conductor. The guy tells the ghost that he has a small request. Lin Yu explains that his ticket was paid only to the intermediate station, and he needs to get to the final station. The train staff reassures the young man that this is not a problem. The ghosts thank him for saving the train, and offer to give him a free ride. The ghost gives the main character a VIP client card, and informs him that he can board the train at any station. In addition, a separate room with a soft, comfortable bed will always be waiting for him, as well as free food in the restaurant car. The train staff advises Lin Yu to immediately upgrade to the most luxurious room on the train, and the conductor promises to arrange a sumptuous lunch as soon as possible. Lin Yu thanks the staff and unobtrusively reminds that there are other passengers in the carriage. The guy asks to take them all to the final stop. The players are very worried. They understand that their tickets have only been paid for to the next station, and the conductor will immediately drop them off the train. At this moment, the conductor appears in the carriage. She addresses the players and asks to show their tickets. Players ask the conductor to extend their trip by at least a few more stations. The conductor informs the young people that they have the opportunity to extend their journey to the final stop. Players learn that the cost of a trip to the final station is 500 minbi. They realize that they do not have that kind of money. The young people ask the conductor if they can pay with some items or artifacts. The conductor informs the players that they do not have to pay a fare. She will not charge them a single minbi, as Lin Yu personally asked her to issue tickets for all players to the final station. The main character has a fun time in the company of his ghosts. They drink quality coffee and play cards in a separate compartment. The game is interrupted by a knock on the door. Bai's secretary gets up from her seat to open the door. The main character is wary. He doesn't know who it is. The girl opens the door. Ding Liang is standing on the threshold. He says that he urgently needs to talk with the main character. The blacksmith explains to Lin Yu that he greatly underestimated him and offers friendship and cooperation. Ding Liang offers a deal. He asks to sell him an ingot of metal, and he will make the strongest artifact from it for free. The main character understands that the ghost is not interested in money. He sincerely loves to forge iron and is a master of his craft. The main character invites the ghost to sign a contract with him, promising to supply the best materials for forging with a lot of yin energy. The ghost thinks about it. He does not want to lose his freedom, but understands that he needs materials and artifacts. The main character assures the ghost that he will not exploit him, as he appreciates his skill. Ding Liang is worried. He has never thought about signing a contract, because it means losing his freedom. The ghost thinks about it. He doesn't want to sign the contract because he doesn't want to have an owner, but he needs materials and artifacts, which makes the offer tempting. Lin Yu promises the ghost not to limit his actions, and give him complete freedom in creating and improving artifacts, as well as supplying him with the best materials. The main character assures that he will not exploit the ghost and make money from him, since he has enough money. Lin Yu tells the ghost that he appreciates his skill and suggests that he carefully consider the offer. Ding Liang is glad that the young man saw in him a great master, for whom art and skill are more important than money. The blacksmith asks if Lin Yu is afraid that the artifact-hungry ghost will try to deceive him. Lin Yu answers the ghost. The guy says that he trusts him, and that a perfectly drawn-up contract allows him to not worry about anything. Ding Liang takes the contract and examines it carefully, weighing all the pros and cons of cooperation. The blacksmith believes that he made the right choice, and voluntarily swears allegiance to the main character. Using Lin Yu's money system to scan Ding Liang's capabilities, the guy learns that the blacksmith's skills are better than he thought. The ghosts happily accept Ding Liang into their squad. The main character informs the blacksmith that from now on he is responsible for materials with yin energy. The locomotive arrives at the final station. The quest called Train 44 is completed. Lin Yu teleports to his apartment. The game system reports that 8 people survived the quest along with the main character. Lin Yu recalls the events of the quest. The guy believes that this game was a good test for beginners. The main character has emerged from the status of a newcomer, and in the near future he will have to face the real world of ghosts. The guy decides that before that, he needs to have a good rest. At the center of investigation number 9, the girl is monitoring the players' forum. She carefully studies new message threads, systematizes users and their messages. The girl believes that the third task was a serious test for beginners. Many players died, but those who managed to escape gained invaluable experience. A stranger has been seeing only plaintive messages from newcomers on the forum lately. The girl hopes that she will soon come across brilliant players. The girl finds a message in which the user asks whether high-level players can appear in a task for beginners, and talks about the events on Train 44. A forum user describes in detail the auction at which the main character bought all the artifacts. He further reports about the attack on the train by a group of bandits, and how a player named Emperor dealt with the ferocious ghosts. The player boasts that the main character asked the conductor not to charge him and take him to the final station. Many users on the forum doubt the player's story. The girl who participated in the quest confirms the guy's words, and says that she saw it all with her own eyes. The stranger leans back in her chair contentedly. She considers the messages on the forum to be true and is going to check the information. The girl considers this not a difficult task, since only 8 people survived this task. Xiaoli is also present on the forum. The girl understands that the player under the nickname Emperor is Lin Yu. She is surprised that the guy spent tens of millions at the auction and defeated 2 fierce ghosts. The girl remembers that in the first quest she gave her phone number to Lin Yu, but the guy still hasn't called her. Bill furiously taps on the keyboard. The man confirms that the player under the name Emperor, while at the fair, generously paid for his goods with the purest copper Minbi coins. Many forum participants doubt the veracity of Bill's message. The man writes in the topic that he knows a person who can confirm his words. Bei comes out of the bathroom, feeling great relief after taking a hot shower. A player forum is open on her computer, and she notices a lot of activity in a thread about a player named Emperor. The girl reads the forum messages, and holds in her hands the Minbi copper coin that the main character used to pay. Bei responds to skeptics on the forum. She writes that Lin Yu copper coins have ideal key energy, and that having a ferocious ghost at your command, you can easily deal with other ghostly creatures. Bei has information that the ghost world is a large and complex space where everything is interconnected with the real world. Her friend named Xiaobai runs into Bei's room. The girl is in a joyful mood and wants to share interesting news. Xiaobai hugs her friend tightly. Bei asks what is the reason for her strange behavior. Xiaobai says that she came to talk about the invasion of ghosts. The girl says that supernatural events have occurred in the city, and the whole prefecture is on edge. The girl intends to gather a group of people to investigate the incident and take the necessary measures. Bei believes that a player with at least level 4 or higher can lead the team, and suggests making an announcement about the recruitment of the team on the forum. Xiaobai is afraid that the media will publish this news, which will make the number 9 investigation center look helpless, causing its reputation to suffer greatly. Bei understands that her friend has an action plan and asks her to immediately tell everything. Xiaobai turns her computer screen to Bei and tells her friend that she intends to contact a popular player under the nickname Emperor. Lin Yu is having dinner in his country house. The guy praises himself for being able to quickly eliminate the evil ghost in the last quest. The main character believes that the time has come to prepare to explore the real world of ghosts, and goes to visit the gaming forum. Lin Yu sees that he has received a personal message from Bei. The guy understands that something serious has happened, since it is unlikely that one of the founders of the forum will bother him over trifles. The main character carefully reads the message, which tells that due to the expansion of the game's influence, ghosts are beginning to influence the real world. Lin Yu responds to Bei. The guy says he needs information regarding a supernatural incident. Bei makes an appointment in the ghost space. The guy agrees and ends up in the game location. The main character is in a public area of the ghost world, which does not belong to either people from the real world or creatures from the ghost world. Lin Yu intends to protect himself and uses a ghostly mask to hide his true appearance from people. A message appears in the air in front of the main character, which requires the guy to give his nickname. Authorization is successful. The game makes a friend request. Lin Yu accepts the invitation and ends up in the room where Bei is located. Lin Yu greets the girl. Bei unsuccessfully tries to make out the young man's face hidden behind a ghostly mask. Bei admires the young man's skills, as the guy was able to hide his true appearance. The girl expresses gratitude to the guy for responding to her request, and invites him to look into the supernatural incident that recently occurred in the city. Lin Yu says that such incidents are trivial to him and asks for detailed information. Bei makes an appointment for the young man for tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the railway station, and says that Lin Yu will be met by a person who will provide detailed information. The girl hands the badge to the main character. The guy looks at it carefully and understands that this is the certification badge of Investigation Center Number 9. Bei wishes Lin Yu a successful journey. The room in which the young people were located begins to gradually disappear. The main character finds himself in a public space. The guy finds these features of the forum very useful, and intends to explore other functions in the future. Lin Yu receives another friend request. The guy realizes that he has become very popular on the forum. The main character learns that Xiaoli sent the request. He understands that the girl awakened her spiritual consciousness, and survived the task for beginners. Lin Yu adds Xiaoli as a friend. The girl at the same moment appears in public space. She runs up to the main character and joyfully greets him. The girl thanks the guy for the bottle of wine, with the help of which she awakened her spiritual consciousness and increased her strength. Xiaoli tells the main character that she used all her skills to deal with the smoke ghost and pass the beginner tests. Lin Yu tells the girl that yesterday he read a topic dedicated to the smoke ghost. The guy was a little surprised that the hero who dealt with the creature turned out to be Xiaoli. The main character asks the girl how long she has been in the true world of ghosts. Xiaoli answers the guy. She says that she came here quite recently, after carefully studying the information on the forum. The girl also says that her father helps her, who acquires valuable information from experienced players. Xiaoli says that for beta players, in addition to opening up the game space, a system of friends and guilds is being added, in which there are points. Points can be used to purchase artifacts such as early completion cards or hint cards. Lin Yu believes that although this feature does not add performance, it is nevertheless useful. The girl exchanges the points she earns for the use of the gym for public training and to create a private space. Lin Yu learns that you can only get points after completing the task. Xiaoli boasts that she was awarded 240 points for the previous 3 tasks, and invites the guy to check his points balance in the information panel. Lin Yu activates the game function and brings up the information panel. The main character is surprised to learn that he was awarded 150,000 points for completing past tasks. Xiaoli asks the guy how many points he earned in previous quest games. The guy decides not to tell the girl about his balance and tells her that he hasn't earned that many points. Xiaoli points to the 2 towers and explains that there are opportunities to earn points in the public space. One of the towers is called the Tower of Afterlife Spirits. The tower standing next to it is the Tower of Purgatory. Lin Yu is going to look into the Tower of Afterlife Spirits, which has 100 difficulty levels. Xiaoli believes that with the powers that the guy has, this task will not be difficult, and says that she will feel safe next to Lin Yu. Young people go inside the Tower of Afterlife Ghosts. On the first floor they are greeted by a huge stone monument. A player who has recently completed the exam quest intends to fight ghosts and get into the ranking of the strongest players. Lin Yu stands in front of a stone slab and carefully studies the ranking of winners. First place is taken by the player who completed the task in 10 seconds. Lin Yu knows that Bei is a 6th level ghost lord, but she is only ranked 3rd in the rankings. Xiaoli talks about how if a guy wants to challenge the tower, you just need to put your hand on the stone and mentally say the phrase, "I'm ready." The girl asks the main character to be extremely careful. The guy asks not to worry about him. Lin Yu approaches the stone slab and touches it with his hand. The guy confirms his desire to challenge. Lin Yu moves to the location. The guy stands in a deserted arena and prepares for the upcoming test. The main character looks with alarm at the approaching ghost in long robes. The creature is surrounded by a magical glow. The guy realizes the seriousness of his intentions. A moment later, the main character finds himself surrounded by a group of ghosts, each of whom is ready to attack. The guy calmly takes a fighting stance. In this fight, he relies on his increased strength and skills. Lin Yu materializes the screw-throwing spikes, proven in past battles, and aims them at the attacking ghosts. Screw spikes prove to be an effective weapon against low-level ghosts. They are unable to dodge or repel them. Lin Yu carefully examines the energy clots left behind by the ghosts. The guy considers the creatures to be unreal, and thinks that they are just puppets filled with grievances and yin energy. The main character calls Delu and asks if he wants to kill ghosts. The cook says that he will complete this task with pleasure, since this is his specialty. Lin Yu finds this tower very useful, since in between quests he can participate in simple challenges and receive a constant income. The main character returns from the gaming arena. The system reports that he cleared it in 2 seconds and awards him 100 points. Xiaoli asks the young man how it went. The guy says that it was too easy since there were only 5 low-level ghosts on the first floor. One of the players points his finger at the information display and informs others that the rating is changed. The anonymous player completed the floor in 2 seconds. Xiaoli looks at the main character with admiration. The girl realizes that the anonymous person who took first place is Lin Yu. The guy hears a conversation of people nearby. They say that the tower is closed for technical reasons. The nearby players are very perplexed, since this is the first time they are faced with such restrictions. Lin Yu realizes that the game is tied to the real world of ghosts, which have many logical rules. The guy wonders who created this huge system of rules and why it came to the human world. Lin Yu looks at the virtual screen of the monetary system. The guy believes that the system and his resurrection are connected. The main character hopes that one day he will be able to understand this strange world.